Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that Fool energy. Wow, you know what that means, right? The Fool means freedom. The Fool means big-time change. The Fool means opportunity. The Fool means, well, are we being a fool or are we being a sage? And on this channel, when we get the Fool card, we immediately have to use our I Ching cards. Because the I Ching, the more I study it, the more I find that it really is an oracle that shows us whether we're being the fool or the sage, right? So it's perfect. When we get the Fool energy, what are we doing? Are we being the fool or are we being the sage here? Or how can we be one or the other, right? What do we need to do in order to get to the right side of that coin, you know? So we're going to pause here for a second and do an I Ching card. And our oracle today is 28, Great Exceeding. The ridgepole warps. Fruitful to have a direction to go, creating success. Okay. All right, so the ridgepole warping is like the one load-bearing beam in your house is starting to rot and sag. Pretty soon, the whole roof is going to cave in, right? So it's fruitful to have a direction to go. You got to know where the exits are, right? If the roof starts caving in, you got to know how to get out of there, right? That's how you go from being a fool to a sage. So let's put this into some more context, okay? We're going to save our I Ching card. We're definitely going to incorporate that as we go. But we need a few more cards here. Oh, Emperor. A lot of majors already here. More majors, more air, more majors, and more Power card. We should have a special bell that rings whenever we get the power card for one of our signs. That's the Chariot. That is the card that rules the sign of Cancer. It's your power card. So we should have a little bell that I can just hit. Maybe over here I'll get a bell. That'll wake people up who are trying to sleep by my voice here. So anyway, this is a lot of major arcana. I think your life really is changing. I think spiritual forces really have a hold of you, and all we have is major arcana and court cards, right? Some air and some water. This is pure. This is pretty cool. This is water of water. This is water of air, and then this is fire of air. So we've got it's kind of a nice progression here. Mystery card. Don't want to forget that. We're going to select one card at random from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We'll set Mr. Ed right on top. Now, with the mystery card, we're not going to look at that until the very end. And hopefully that card will tie everything together, give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during the reading you get a sense of what that card is, leave a comment in the comment section, okay? Trying to make this channel a little bit more interactive, make it a little more fun, right? So I'm hoping that we can collectively raise our vibrations, collectively tap into our intuition, tap into source, into spirit, open ourselves up, and see if we can discern the energy of that card, okay? So any point during the reading, but at the end, we'll have another moment where we can have a moment of stillness and we can see if we can get to it, okay? So I think that's a nice exercise for us on this channel. But first, Let's look at this again. We have major, 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 major. Then we've got our core cards. So this is really, it's almost like here, there's really nothing for you to do except stop trying to do everything. You know, this is almost as if our thinking and our feeling, right? Because we have water and we have air, we have even air over here. It seems that our thinking and our feeling are getting in the way of what needs to happen, right? That your life is changing, and we're going to make it very difficult on ourselves if we think too much about it or we feel too much about it, right? We're too much in our head, too much in our heart. That this ridgepole, this ceiling is going to collapse on us, and that's kind of foolish, right? So we start with that Fool at the very beginning. Now the Fool is someone who is very, very interested in new experiences, right? Wants to get out there and do different things. Everything is a novelty to the Fool, right? Everything is just wonderful. Wide-eyed curiosity. This could lead you to trouble. The Fool can sometimes get into some sticky situations because of that curiosity, because of that wide-eyed wonderment. So we need a little bit of discernment. We need to kind of figure out how to be wise rather than foolish. We need to be a little bit of the sage. Maybe we want to be right in the middle there, right? We like the curiosity, we like the freedom, we like the experience, we like the lack of self-consciousness. See, the Fool is no self. The Fool isn't self-conscious or embarrassed or anxious about anything. Just wants to go, go, go. Wants to expand infinitely in all directions, right? Infinitely in all directions, with no anxiety, with no restrictions, no boundaries, pure air, right? The great exceeding, too much of that, and we end up underneath a sagging roof, and it collapses. It's fruitful to have a direction to go. So the Fool can't just go in every direction at once. We need to kind of allow things to take us in a particular path. I think it's very nice that we have the Emperor and the Chariot, and the Hierophant. We have all of the best cards here, I gotta say. But we're interfering with this spiritual process with our thinking. We're overthinking and overfeeling, right? There is text on the back of the card. It says, when you exceed something, you cross over a line and make a transition. Okay, I think that's what we're doing. I think life is changing. I think we've kind of, we've grown out of the past, right? Here's the Eon card. This is the rebirth, reawakening, baptism by fire. This is the doorway to the future. I think that the old Eon has served its purpose, and now we have to enter into the new Eon for ourselves, for our spiritual development, for our success, our career path, whatever it is. We've stayed here too long. Now the roof is starting to sag in. It's kind of dilapidated. It's going to come crashing down. We've got to keep moving, right? Spiritually, energetically speaking. I'm not saying you got to leave your job or your family or anything. But there is this energy that we've been in that's stagnating. And if we don't make the decision to go through this doorway, then we're kind of the Fool instead of the sage, right? You exceed something, you cross over a line and make a transition. That's what we're doing here. This is the transition between the old past and the new future. This is a definite decision, though. You have to walk through that door. It's like the Fool needs to know where the entrance/exit is to get out of this, the situation. So this brings stress, but also a greatness of spirit and purpose beyond the scope of the situation. So that tells me that whatever this past is, whatever this kind of doorway to the future, that we have to walk through this doorway. It is a specific situation. Maybe it is a work thing. Maybe it is a family thing. Maybe it is a friendships or some kind of a group that you're associated with, some kind of a life that you've been leading, some kind of an energy that you've been in. Going through this doorway, making this decision, is good in and of itself. It brings stress, but it also brings this sense of purpose, a sense of greatness, a sense of this expansion, right? This sense of freedom, of wonderment. But we have to be careful not to be foolish with it, right? We might be walking out of the frying pan right into the fire. Let's see. Things cannot hold up as they are, like the ridgepole of the traditional Chinese house. So there must be movement. Reach out imaginatively and explore. Kind of what we got here with the Fool, right? Reach out. Use your imagination, not the self-consciousness. Now, it's key here, the word of the E never fails to impress me. And it says, use your imagination to explore. And that is the Fool energy, right? That's not our thinking and feeling functions. Our imagination comes from something else. It may filter through our thinking and feeling sometimes. You know, it may elicit thoughts and feelings, but imagination is something different, something kind of intangible, right? It's kind of this Fool. So the Fool is very crucial here. And it very much is this fine line between foolishness and sageliness. And maybe this is, well, the art or temperance card down beneath everything. This might be our need to really do both, right? To be right on the line there between being the fool and being the sage. We have a foot in both worlds. I think that's good. I think that is using your imagination. This is being creative and taking all the best qualities of the fool and all of the best qualities of the sage. See, I wish we had the Hermit card here, because then we could really illustrate this. The Fool has all this imagination, all this wonderment, all this curiosity, no self-consciousness, no anxiety, but not too smart, right? Walk into some dangerous situations because it doesn't know any better. The sage, on the other hand, understands everything, can turn all of that experience into wisdom, knows how to use the imagination creatively to make progress, to get things done, to do what the organism wants to do. But the shadow side of the sage is, well, the hermit, the isolation, right? Having all of this wisdom, but then refusing to participate in the world, right? The fool wants to participate in every aspect of the world, even the dangerous kind of things, you know? Even the unwise parts of the world. So it could be that this is the blending of those two, taking the best qualities from the fool, the best qualities from the sage or the hermit, and blending them together, using our imagination creatively to make progress, to take charge of our life, to embrace this inevitable change that's happening in our life right now, right? So the E is also asking, see, there's text on the back, which is a translation of the original hexagram text from the ancient Chinese. Okay. I don't know who translated it. I forget the author of these cards. It wasn't me. I do have my own I Ching translation. You can find a link to it in the description box. This card's asking, what is overloaded, right? Why is the roof sinking here? What is the situation that we need to, what is this house that we have to get out of, right? What is causing it to crumble? Right? Why is it so heavy that it's threatening our progress? Okay, that's the first question that we have to ask. I don't have the answer to it. It's also an idea, what have we outgrown? Right? Are we expanding too much in our spiritual presence that this little house, this little fishbowl, just can't contain us anymore? Right? We're living in this bubble, but we're expanding. This bubble can't hold us, right? As we were in a balloon or something. So what must you do? What must you do? Because we need, like it says here, it's fruitful to have a direction to go. Got to make a move here, right? So I think the move really is something that we have to, again, use our imagination, use our creativity to discern. But what we don't want to do is too much of these court cards. We don't want to have too much of this water of air. See, every card has its light and shadow. Usually I see this card, I think this is great. We're getting a higher perspective. We're starting to use our intuition to kind of get a sense of what we're doing. But in some cases, this could be that we are tempted to base our decisions on our surface feelings, right? I don't feel too good right now. I don't think this is wise right now, right? I think we need to use that higher spiritual faculty, which we see a lot of on the path of the serpent, especially the sun, Hierophant, your power card, ding, ding, I'll hit the bell. We're not basing our decisions based on the feelings that we have right now, because the feelings that we have, we know they change moment to moment. That's the nature of feelings. That's why it's not a good idea to identify with your feelings, which is what we see here. This is the Queen of Cups, water on water. There's a veil there. We're trying to get to that feeling. We're trying to identify with it, but this is a current of water. It flows. In this situation, maybe it's not wise for us to try to really penetrate and understand each feeling we have. If we're sitting here in this house that's about to collapse on us, we need this emperor. We need this fire energy. We need to just have this flash of an answer, and move. It's not something for us to meditate on and think about and discover our feelings. There's a time and a place for this kind of depth work with this water energy. There's a time and place for this kind of higher perspective and meditation sort of thing. But what we need right now in this situation is action, decision and action, which is not, again, it's not a decision for you really to make. Like I said at the beginning, this is, oh, hi, TT. This is just something that the Spirit is moving us. And the only decision we have to make is, are we going to move with it or try to resist it? Are we trying to swim against the current, or are we trying to flow with the current? Yeah. TT, what do you think? So the Emperor energy is the way forward. And the Emperor is some of that very strong, very assertive Aries type of energy, right? It's almost an impulse, right? It's feeling the Spirit and moving toward it. Okay, let's not throw all the cards around. She wants to start her own channel and do her own tarot readings. We need to open ourselves up to this kind of Aries type of energy, this Emperor energy. I don't think it really comes easy for Cancers. I'm a solar Cancer. We have this cardinal water energy, right? That the only thing impulsive we do is sometimes express our emotions, right? Whereas with the Emperor, it is an impulsive action, right? This is someone in your group, it's like a common trope in movies and TV shows and stuff. There's always one person in the group that just says, let's go this way, and we bust through the door. That's like the Aries kind of energy, right? Whereas the Cancer energy kind of wants to feel all their feelings about it first, So this is the way forward. This is the energy that we need to invoke in ourselves, right? The ability to just, I don't know how to summon it necessarily, just to allow it to take place. If you had your eyes closed right now and somebody asked you, and you have to answer right away, no thinking about it, just blurt it out. What direction are you going? Right? What are you going to say? Right? What is the first thing that comes out of your mouth? Because that is the most pure. That is the closest thing to bypassing your thinking and feeling that we can have. Yeah. So that might be an exercise for you to do. At a random moment, ask yourself the question of, where are you going, what direction are you headed, or what's your next move, whatever the case may be, depending on of course, what the situation is and how quickly that roof is coming down. There's some situation, like this card, like the I Ching says, great exceeding, right? What is overloaded? So there's too much of something. This is trying to contain all of this energy in this old system. It's not working anymore. Something's got to give. Okay. So if we can get this Emperor energy activated, then we might get ourselves over to the path of the Serpent. And the first thing that we come to is the Sun. Now, the Sun is kind of like full enlightenment, right? She's licking the table. Full enlightenment. That now we can see, now we have what in the Queen of Swords feels like a higher perspective, right? Feels like we kind of are seeing things from above. But this is an illusion compared to the Sun. The Sun literally sees all, right? So I think that now is not the time to try to get this clarity. The only way for you to see things properly is to make that move. Allow the Emperor, the spiritual Emperor energy to act. Once you are out of this crumbling house and you're safely in the field or whatever, then this illumination will dawn. Then you will see everything, right? Maybe we don't know exactly why the roof is coming down. Maybe we don't know even what we're supposed to do next. But the first thing we have to do is get out of this crumbling house. Yeah. Then we can work on our enlightenment, our clarity. Okay. Now the next card is more of this air energy. This is in the position of the environment. This is, to me now, this kind of is related to the Emperor a little bit. The Emperor is that spiritual force. I think that this Knight of Swords, it's fire of air. This is the very quick thinking that leads to action, right? This is the Fool kind of going toward the Emperor, right? Because we have the Fool, which is air, we have the Emperor, which is fire, and we have that here in action. So this is the archetype. This is the theory. This is you actually doing it, right? This is you making the next move as an impulse. Wherever the Spirit is sending you, we have to go. We have to hustle out of this house because the roof is coming down. So this is the card of timing, and this is the card of action. Swift action. Quick decision, quick action based on this Fool-Emperor combination. Okay? That is the spiritual theory. This is the activity. This is the actual practice of it. Right? And this is, again, just when the situation arises, when you ask yourself the question, when you're in that moment, don't overthink it, don't overfeel it. Just decide to act and act. It should be instantaneous. Yeah. And the next card now, we're going to try to hustle things along here. We've got the next two. Now, I like the power card. This power card, self-explanatory. I love that. This shows that your spirit, your soul, your connection with God, Goddess, deity, universal mind, universal energy, guardian angels, spirit guides, ancestors, all of it. You're on the right path. You're going in the direction meant for you, right? So this is a lot of success. This is you committed to your path. This is you making a lot of progress, okay? But the obstacle next is this Hierophant. And this is in the position of what we don't want or the position of the obstacle. It feels to me like we are still a little bit attached to those shadow qualities of the hermit, right? The isolation, the kind of the loneliness. We'd rather just kind of be the loner and do it ourselves. The Hierophant here is a card that says you need to accept help. You need to ask for help. You need to be willing to have a support system, right? But this is the obstacle. This is the card you don't want. Maybe you don't want help. Maybe you don't want to ask for help. Maybe to you that would feel a little bit too much like some water energy. Maybe admitting that we need help, admitting, maybe it feels like a show of weakness. It's not. It's not, right? This is the Taurus energy. It could be that you need assistance from a Taurus person in your life, okay? It could be that you really need to watch your Taurus reading on this channel. But I think generally it means that you need to be willing to accept help, right? That there are others out there that have skills and talents that will perfectly complement yours. And you have skills and talents that they don't have. So you'll complement their energy, and together it's a perfect mesh. Yeah. But we have to be willing and we have to be open to that process. We can't be so stubborn or maybe a little bit too much in our ego or in our feelings that we're refusing this kind of partnership, right? This kind of mesh. So I think this is very important. Now, Cancer, we are going to do an extended, the mystery card. We almost forgot the mystery card. TT reminded me. Thank you, TT. And thank you, Mr. Ed. So now is the point where we're going to pause. We'll have a moment of stillness. I'll ask you to try to connect with the images and the energies of these cards. Let's see if we can raise our collective vibrations, tap into our intuition, and discern this mystery card. All right, so go ahead and pause the video if you want. If you don't want to play along, that's fine too. If you're driving, if you're busy, if you just don't feel like it, that's okay. I think it's going to be an ace, right? An ace of something. Just showing that action, just showing that it's just an impulse, it's just an energy, right? That's moving forward. But I don't know. Well, let's just see. Well, look at that, TT. It's a 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups. So the 5 of Cups, I think, is talking about some emotions in you. And I think what's going on is we're hesitating because of this kind of sorrow or sadness of leaving this thing. I'm kind of sad that we're moving on from it, right? So we're in this house, the roof is crumbling down, but we're just kind of sad. I don't want to leave this thing, right? But what we don't realize is that right behind us is an even more potent elixir, right? We may have lost 3 cups, but we're gaining 2, and maybe it's less cups, it's maybe more concentrated, right? So it's the idea that we are putting ourselves in this kind of danger or this risk, right, of the roof collapsing because of our attachment to a feeling, our attachment to a person, a place, a thing, whatever it is. We're attached to it. But what we don't realize is that there are better things waiting for us, right? That it's not worth us getting crushed under the weight of whatever this thing is. And we have to move forward with this energy. And you'll realize that there is a lot more joy out there for you, right? But we have to go through this doorway. We have to get out of this collapsing structure. No matter how much we're attached to it, no matter how much we love it, and we're going to feel the pain and sorrow of leaving it, it's nothing to the pain and sorrow of us getting crushed under something. But there's also the promise of more joy and love and beauty and laughter and all of this stuff. Right? If we just turn away from this and look the other way, look toward the future, you'll see. And maybe the 2 of Cups is the more concentrated, the more pure love energy, right? Because it's closer to the Ace, right? A 2 of Cups is a little bit more closer to spirit. A little bit closer than the 3, right? The 3 of Cups might be something that felt good that we're going to miss, but of 2 of Cups, the 2 of Cups that is in the other direction, if we turn and move that way, that's real love, real connection. That is a very pure connection between 1 and 1, right? It's perfect. There's no third element. There's nothing in the mix. It's pure. Yeah. I like this. Unexpected confirmation card, but I like it. Now we're going to do an extended Cancer. If you want to stick around, click either above or below in the description box. New Cancer readings come out every Tuesday and Saturday at 6 a.m. Chicago time. Just subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Then you'll get notified when the new readings come out. You won't miss it. Okay. I want to thank you for watching this reading all the way through until the end. It really helps out the algorithm, and that helps out the channel, and I appreciate that. I want to thank you for being here, Cancer, and thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.